This is a puppy that we just got. Her name is Bella. We started filming with her last week. We've only had her for 2 weeks now. She's about 16 weeks old. We started filming with her last week. About the first week I had her, I did very little with her. We fed her. And we fed her with a little bit of consistency and routine, and we made sure that we didn't have accidents in our house. That was our objective. She settled in really nicely, and when she did, now we started in on a little bit more formal stuff. Easy. 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 That's Ellie. Ellie introduces, you can set it right there. Right over here is good. Ellie introduces herself there. Ellie is a dog of mine. Now I'm going to put her here. And I have to be very careful. Because if any of you, some of you guys were passed by our booth, and you saw that these little guys, that's perfect, thank you. This is Scott. Scott's my partner. We own a small company. It's called More Outdoors, but we have several different brands under it. And so one of our brands is Dogbone, and Dogbone is our training products. It's our actual dogs. Come on in. Holy smokes, the rain must have let up. No, it didn't, huh?
I just saw you.
Yeah, perfect. Come on in. Come on in. I think there's some other people that are stranded in the other building and not willing to get wet for a seminar. I don't blame them. So some of you saw in our booth this puppy on place. So we call this place training. Actually, so Scott and I have got this little company. It's called More Outdoors. Dogbone is one of our brands. We also, you see us wearing these shirts that say Hodag. Hodag is another brand of ours. It's a deer product. We have lots, I wouldn't say lots, but we have several patents, and some of them are on our dog line of products, and some of them are on our Hodag line, which is a deer communication product. We are like the classic small business startup story, still in its really infant ages. The dog part falls clearly under Dogbone. And my background is, my background is construction. Never formally trained as a dog trainer. So this is perfect training. So if you can see this, you'll get a really good feel of how we do it, which I'm really grateful that my dogs make mistakes. It sounds silly. We do a lot of training live. So if you've watched any of our live, come on in, you guys. If you've watched any of our Facebook stuff, we do Facebook, we do a lot of YouTube, we do a lot of Instagram. You guys are welcome to come in if you want. We do a ton of stuff where the dogs make mistakes. And the value in that, and the risk in it is I'll look silly. Spry over here is a daughter to Taylor. Taylor is the Whitetails Unlimited mascot. She's the one laying here, half awake. She is the Whitetails Unlimited mascot. She's one of our personal dogs. She'll turn 6 in about 2 weeks. Ellie is going to be 4 in September. Spry's 2.5. Bella's 16 weeks. So Bella's the one that we just plugged in new. So we get a new dog every so often. She belongs to a client. She belongs to an outfitter down in Illinois. Now watch her. As I pay attention, as I stop paying attention to her, she's over here and she's starting to reach with her paw. And she's starting to test the idea of, do you think I can get off this thing without him noticing? Because we went live on Facebook with her the very first time we place trained her. So I call this place training. Place training is nothing more than a control thing. My young dogs have a few options. And I think I'm a big believer in the idea of when you train a dog, who in here has a dog? Who doesn't have a dog? Are you getting a dog? Someone interested? Okay. If you weren't, I'd wonder. So if you are getting a dog, you're going to be a step ahead because you're hearing all this stuff, and you can watch our DVDs and you can watch our different social channels, and you can see. Now I'm not paying attention to her, and all of a sudden she's getting antsy, and she's rocking around, and she's up on her feet, and she's getting a little bit vocal. And so she's lost interest in what she's doing right now. She'd prefer to do something different. And so one of the things that I put into these little dogs is I'm a big believer in the understanding that things don't always happen exciting. Because my life is not always the fun stuff. So I think you got to be real careful when you watch. Who here is on social media? I should ask this, who isn't on social media? Who doesn't use it at all? Put your hands up high. It's not a shame thing. I'm jealous. No, I use it a lot. You hear people talk about it good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I don't care what your thoughts are on it. I think you can use it really well. I think you can use it really foolishly. I think it'd be a huge waste of time. I think it can be super valuable. So I just think it's how you use it. For us, it's really valuable because it's the easiest, fastest way for me to transfer information to you guys, and almost a little risky at how quickly it can transfer it, because we can go live. Like we've gone live during seminars before. We're not doing this one, we're just recording it. He'll edit this up. When I say edit it, he's not going to cut out anything. He's just going to make it so that if you can see it from all angles, so when you're watching it, when you're watching it from home, you can see it. So he'll edit it that way. He's got 2 cameras going for that reason. But the thing about this dog is, the thing about all those opportunities are, if you are on social media and you watch a lot of dog trainers that train dogs, you see a lot of really impressive things. I do too. And I watch them and I'm interested and I learn from that. But I also think you miss the idea of all the things that don't go so well are rarely shown. And so that's why when we do a live thing, I like to show them making mistakes. I think mistakes are opportunities for them to learn if we handle it right. And so what's important is you seeing me and how I handle some of these things that come up. My dogs will do the same things that your dogs will do. And how do you handle it from a timeliness standpoint? Timing is a very important part of training. So I love how she just settled. Good. Very good. She just peeked at me out of the corner of her eye when I said good. She went, me? I did something good? That's good. And we're talking about you. So I think timing is really important for lots of reasons, in the sense of, like, as she steps off of there, that's why I like these beds. They're elevated. It's black and white. They're on it or they're off. There's no in between. When you have you can transfer this skill. You can transfer place training into lots of stuff. I could put her on place on that chair. I could put an older dog on place on the table. I could put if you gave me a piece of cardboard, I could set it on the ground. I say, get on your place, and they'd go sit on that perimeter because they visually would see it, and that's the spot they should go. This one, not a chance. Because there's no change in elevation. And if I fought her enough to the point where she got frustrated and decided to lay down on that cardboard, you see those pillows, those like dog pillows, dog bed things. I like those. I don't think they're a problem. I don't like them for puppies. I think they promote a little bit of chewing. And you get the corners chewed off, and then they pull the stuffing out, and you got a mess. Trust me, my mom's fixed a lot of them over the years for me. The other thing I don't like about them is when they're laying flat, all of a sudden they fall asleep and they roll over. And then all of a sudden their ear and their head is off the bed, and one paw is off the bed, and then they roll over and they're half off the bed. And all of a sudden, at what point do I correct the dog to say, you're not on the bed anymore? It's too much gray. You don't have the option with this. It's you're on or you're off. The problem is if you're paying attention and talking to you guys and she gets off and she takes 3 steps and then I turn around and I recognize it. Everybody see that? Like, I mean, these dogs, attention span, it's pretty short. So I got to stay sharp, because if she comes off and I correct her late, she has no idea. I should do this. Let's do this. We'll reset this. We'll put it right in the middle. Everyone can see her. Now, this will make it a little harder on her too. Because all of a sudden now she's got 360 degrees of distraction. You got to be careful. You got to set them up for success. Now, I wouldn't do this for the first time, but I have a bit of confidence after 4 days that she understands a perimeter. Now, who came here so the topic is deer dog stuff. We're going to develop our deer dog, and I'm going to talk about that. But I get real easily sidetracked, and I really get off on things. So tangents, and all of a sudden we're talking puppy stuff. I think puppy stuff is really important, and the reason I think it's important is because puppy stuff is foundational, 90%. We are going to form some good habits in this little dog today that will work out into the field when they're 2.5, when they're 4, when they're 6. It starts here though. And I think the problem is that we all see this, and I'll show you some stuff with these old dogs and you'll go, that's cool. It is cool. And it hello to you. And it is fun. But the fun stuff can't happen without the not so fun, boring stuff. Now, I like to look at it this way. To me, this is not boring and not fun. I enjoy it a lot when I go to shows and people come up and they go, how old is that dog? Now, she's 16 weeks old, and I've only had her for 2 weeks. And when she came to me, she is a beautiful balance of what I call, she's bold, yet extremely cautious. And she finds the right time to be bold, and she finds the right time to be cautious. I think she's extremely intelligent. She's from a genetic, the backstory on her is I finagled my way into getting this puppy. It's a dog from her sire is very desirable dog that I have a lot of interest in from the UK. Her great grandpa, he's an international field trial champion. He's an IGL champion. He's a 4-time IGL qualifier. If you know anything about European field trials, that's real good. He's really good. Her grandpa on the mom's side is the same, international field trial champion. Tremendous, really a sought after dog genetically. She's got it on both sides of her pedigree. So I got a chance, I'm interested in potentially breeding one of those dogs back to some of the genetics that I have and have had for years now. I'm into the 3rd generation with one of these dogs, and I've trained 7 or 8 dogs out of that line. So I really have a dialed in feel for them. There's timing. She didn't have time to put her second paw down before there was a correction for the first. She'll learn from that. Watch her ear, look at her ears right now. She kind of puts her ears down after a simple of tone, and she goes, I'm real sorry. That's her body language to me, sorry. So now when she does settle, she's a little distracted over here. When she does settle and possibly spin around and lay down, I better be there just as quick to say, good girl, and let her know. We're very quick to correct dogs. I see people nagging dogs all the time. But then the dog does something exactly the way they should do it, and they don't even pay attention. Good girl. Very good. She goes, really? Me? Yes, you. Nice. We got to praise them as quickly as we correct them for them to understand the right thing to do. But so anyway, so I lucked into getting this dog, and she probably has some of the most promise I've seen in 16 years. I'm just real excited about her. I'm going to show you a few of the things. So 4 days of place training has gotten us to the point where she can do this in a crowd with what I call relatively heavy distractions. This is tough. I wouldn't recommend doing this for the first time in this scenario. But if you want to see the first time we did it live, and it was in my kitchen. And there was no other distractions around, and she ran off that place 10 times in a row. And I just consistently said, no, 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 no. Same thing with her coming out of her crate, her kennel. She wanted to come out real fast. And so I just closed the door. I open the door, she comes out, I close the door. She opens the door, comes out, I close the door. About 4 or 5 times of her getting bumped in the nose when this door comes open, and I come bulling out, and all of a sudden she sits there and she peeks out and looks at me and goes, you gonna close that door? And I say, Bella. And I said her name, and she comes out to it. So now I open the door after about a day or 2 of that, because I do it 10 times a day. I got 10 lessons. So after 20 lessons, she's smart. She picks up on stuff very quickly. So now I open the door, and she comes to the edge, and she looks up, and she waits for her name. And when I say her name, she comes out. I'm consistent. I do it every day, all the time. So I'm going to show you some of the little puppy stuff that we do with her. Now, delivery is real important. I need a volunteer. The job is hold the puppy. You were the first hand up. I do this because I can't ask her to sit on that place when I do something with these older dogs. and expect her to be able to handle that. It's too much. So I do think we have to be realistic with our expectations. Now, you're doing a fine job with her. What I don't want is you to untrain her for me. And you just became a little tense, didn't you? So it's interesting. People become a little uncomfortable at times when I put them on the spot. Imagine that, right? So, but what I don't want is, she's got a very nice habit of don't bite, don't chew, don't nip. And the reason is because when I hold her, if you watch me hold that dog, I'll hold on to her.
Don't cradle her.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you exactly.
I'm not that strong.
Yeah, no. And she said she's not that strong, and I don't know. You look pretty strong to me. So here's how I hold them when they're little. And I don't. Has anybody ever seen puppies that want to bite and chew and nip and eat your hat, eat your ear, pull on your hair, nip your hands? I see it all the time where little kids come up, they want to pet the dog, and they're a little timid, and then the little puppy looks at that and goes, and the kid goes, whoo, whoo, or they cry. And then they go back in, and they pull, and they go back in. And the little puppy every time nips and nips and nips, and then the tail starts to wag, and they go, what a fun game. Look at this. It's catch the hand. And these dogs start to form a habit of, when someone puts their hand out, I should give them a little, see if I can catch them. So it's hard for them to understand that. We're training. Dogs are always learning, so we have to realize we're always training. So when I hold on to her, she is heavy. This is a lot easier when they're 7 or 8 weeks old, not 14 or 16. But when I hold on to them, I hold them in a way that they can't get at anything. Because this dog now, for a couple weeks, has had a habit of sitting in my arms and doing nothing. She's had a habit now for 4 days of lay on the bed and do nothing. If you notice, the 3 dogs that have been laying up, well, 2 out of the 3 are asleep nearly, and one's over there, the younger one, kind of ready. I'm going to actually work with her. So her habit has a tendency to not chew or bite, and she wasn't chewing or biting you, was she? So if she starts to, which it's amazing how long it takes to do something repetitiously to form a habit that you want. I've never quite figured it out. I can get dogs to do just about anything. Sometimes it just takes a long time, and we take little steps at a time to get there. But in a blink of an eye, I can form a bad habit. I mean, very quick. So what I want to do is, I want to make sure that if she starts to get a little mouthy, if she starts to get a little nippy, if she starts to go, oh, you've got beautiful hair, I'd like to chew on it, we make sure we set her up for success, and we take the hair away. If you get mad at your dog for carrying around your $100 pumps, shoes, and your dog chews it up, I have the easiest way to fix that problem. Put your shoes away. They won't never wreck them if they're put away. I mean, that's a good lesson for my kids. My poor kids, the house we live in. They do all right. But my kids understand really quickly, and my dogs understand. Now, here's the other thing. If your dog's getting to your shoes, I say you should put your shoes away. And I also say you should supervise your dog. My dogs don't get free run of the house. Now, some of you probably are forming opinions about me. He's a drill sergeant. His dogs don't do anything. You tell me if my dogs don't look happy. You tell me how many of you have had your dogs petted as much as my dogs have been petted in the last 24 hours. So, spry. Now, she goes from nearly asleep. If you can look at her right now, you can really see her muscles. She's a pretty little dog. She's lean, she's fast. She didn't make a retrieve until she was 8 months old. How do I know that? If you watch Live with Spry, this is Spry, so we did a series, 138 videos, live on Facebook from the time she was about 8 weeks old until the last one we did, she was a little over a year. And until she was 8 months old, for six months, I didn't get a retrieve out of her. You want to talk about disheartening. A lot of people would have sold that dog off a long time ago. I'm going to show you a little bit about her. Spry. I want you to see her style. Her style is kind of how she works that tail. I want to see you to see how clever she is to pick stuff up. I want you to see how nice her delivery is. I want you to see how willing she is to hold on. She's not going to drop. She's not going to run circles. She's not going to do victory laps. She's not going to play keep away. She's not going to play dead tug of war. She's not going to break. She's steady. She goes, oh my God, I'm out of position. Did you see that little creep back? She went, oh, I'm sorry. She's got to get into position. I'm going to heel her out. You're going to see heel. You're going to see a little bit of footwork with her. It's real hard for a dog to walk backwards. Heel. We're going to walk right down. We're going to see the dummy. There it is. It's right there. It's very tempting, but look at where her eyes are. She's out of position. She says, I'm sorry. Spry. Real tempting. And she was halfway there. I was so close, Dad, I could feel it. No, I said come back, so she can come back. Right. Go back. Good dog. Good dog. Hold, hold, hold here. Shows off to her sisters a little bit. Look at that. Did. Good. Sit. Now, that's fun. She didn't, and so the reason I show that is, I'll show you one more thing. I think it's important to see. The point I'm trying to make with her right now is, if you realized the struggles I had with that poor dog, well, you can watch it on YouTube. Here, spry. Here, here, here. Good. So she's a gun dog too. I use her. She's going to hunt this year for the first time. She'll duck hunt for me this year. She's 2.5 years old, so she's a puppy. But she handles. We just started handling with her. Lefts, rights, go back. So I would argue with anybody who says, boy, that's not a very nice little dog to have in the field. Like, there's very few people that would say that. I think most people would say, I'd be really happy if my dog would do that. Get out. Good. 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 She's going to leave that other one alone because she's got a job to do. She's got to deliver to Dad. She took that cast really nice. So the reason I show all that stuff is I want you to realize at 8 months old, she didn't make retrieves to hand. I threw bumpers for her. I tried 10 different things, 20 different things. I don't even know how many things I tried to get her to do it. She wouldn't do it. And I got real frustrated because I was live and there was no hiding it. And I had to figure it out. And I had to try all these combinations to get her unlocked. And so the way I did it was, first off, at one point during that series of live videos, I said to the people that were watching, I said, I got to be really honest with you. I'm really worried about this and I'm stressed out, and it's making training not very fun because I cringe at the idea of it. The rest of the stuff was going really well. She healed really well. She was off lead pretty early. She was steady. I had a lot of good things that she did. The foundation was really good, but I just couldn't get the retrieve. And I said, I have to change my mind and my attitude and go, you know what? We'll get there when we get there. And I had to not only say it, but I really had to believe it. And so a couple weeks later, we were up at my parents' place who live in Rhinelander. That's the story behind the Hodag. I'm just from Rhinelander. It really doesn't mean anything else. But we were up in Rhinelander, and it was August or whatever Labor Day is. I think that's in August, September, early September, something like that. And we were up and we were swimming with the dogs. And for some reason, somehow something got put in the water and she went out and got it and she brought it right back to me. And I thought, huh. So I threw it out again. And she swam out and got it, and she brought it right back to me. And I threw it again, and she swam out and got it. And so each time I threw it out a little further, and she made really nice retrieves, and she delivered it to me, and she held. And I thought, wow, it's real interesting. From that moment on, it clicked, and she retrieved. I brought her back in my shop, I made retrieves with her, and I wanted to celebrate, man. But everybody got to see it. And so my point with it is it might just take longer for some. I'm going to show you the little puppy right now. Spry, come here. I'm going to show you come here. Come on. Now, not for a second, she goes, really? I got to go back. Come on. Not for a second do I not think she has really nice genetics. I know she's got them. It just
trembling. She wants to.
This one here?
Yeah.
Well,
she's like, it's my turn.
She's very excited. I don't blame her.
Yeah.
But before she's going to get to do it, I will ask her to settle down. So I can feel her heartbeat right now. It's racing. So when we feed them, I do this routine where I get the dog ready and I get the bowl of food ready and I hold on to the puppy until she settles down. Again, I recommend doing it early on because she's heavy. And so when they're 7 weeks, you can hold them for a while. I held on to Spry one time for 45 minutes live on Facebook, not saying a word. Just holding on to her because she would whine and wiggle. And every time she whined and wiggled, I restarted the clock in my head. I said, she's got to be calm, she's got to be quiet, she's got to be patient, and then she gets to eat. So we do that with her. My problem with her right now, and I want to do this, I would reverse this. I'm going to do the retrieve part first, but I'll show you the feeding part next. My problem with her is she's too steady. It's a good problem to have. I can usually loosen a dog up. It's the ones that are real loose and trying to tighten them down, dial them in. That can be a little bit of a challenge. But so I'm not going to ask her to be steady to a retrieve. It's too early. She's just a puppy. But what I'm going to show you is how I encourage the delivery and how I respond to her when she does bring it to me. She is not going to now. There's a point about this dog that is real cautious, and she's not really showing it right now. She was here yesterday. She did this. I want to walk her down here. Come on, come on, come on. Now, a lot of people would say, I can't. How's he getting that dog to follow him around? Come on, come on. There's a distraction. A little distraction was too much. Come on, come on, come on. Good dog. Good. We do this, and we filmed it. We just walk around and let the puppy follow us. Get into this habit. Make sure that I'm as exciting as anything else. Now, she's learned, she's made less than 10 retrieves with me in her life. So, come on, come on, come on. But I'm going to show you, she's probably retrieved my sandals as much as a dummy because it's been an accident. Come on, come on, come on. Very good, very good, very good, very good. Come on, come on, come on. You're going to notice I'm not in a huge hurry. Well, I'm going to put it right back. Good dog. Good dog. Good dog. Good girl. Good girl. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. She really wants to go past me. Why do you think that is? So because I got 3 dogs behind me. So how am I setting this up? Not very smart. Now, my other concern is if I pitch it down here, is she going to pick it up and go to these dogs? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to this side. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And I'm going to go just a little bit shorter. Ready? 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 Very good. Now, look at the difference in the delivery. Good. Good. So I hold on to her, and I'm not in a hurry to take this away. Sometimes I give it back to her. She gives it to me, I give it to her. She gives it to me. Now, she went from super ultra calm dog to look at her now. We've ramped this up. So what do? Put the dummy away. That's enough. So those retrieves, I am not kidding. Those retrieves, since I've had her, she's done it just extremely naturally. I put water on the food and I soften it up. The reason I do that is because I want dogs to learn to eat quickly. Now, as she continues to kind of spin up, spin up, spin up. Come here. Sit. Good. See this little habit she's got? Watch her sit. Come here. Come on, come on, come on. Sit. Right here. Sit. That's a good one. That was a good one. She has a habit where she sits and spins around and she ends up facing away from me. I don't know where the hell that came from. Come here. I've never seen a little dog do it before. Sit. Good. I don't know. I don't really like it. I want him to sit finishing towards me because that delivery that Spry came up with the dummy, I'd like to start putting that into her today. So what I'm going to do to change that is, come on. I feed him a little. I'm not a treat trainer. I use a little bit of kibble early, but then I replace it with praise pretty quickly. So I'm going to bring her in, and if she spins, watch what I do. Sit. Good. That was a nice one. She gets a little kibble. Good dog. Good dog. Come here. Sit. That's a nice one. Good. We've been working on this now for about a week, 5 days maybe. And with this little habit of her spinning around, I used to reward that. Now I want her to do it so I can show it to you. But I just thought about it and I thought, you know what? I want to change the habit. Sit. See how she's starting to? So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put the food over here and make her come back and get it. So if she spins around, I don't feed her there. I put it over here and make her square back up. And then she squares up to me, and then she gets the little reward. Come here, sit. And that quickly, good. That quickly has changed her little sit to be a front sit. So, I mean, this isn't rocket science, but the idea of her rewarding her to do it the wrong way will then help her understand the right way to do it. Sit. Good. There's a real nice little front sit. So now what I can do is, so the reason I do this, the reason she came in with a bit of a bad habit. Her bad habit was eat 3 bites and then go for a walk. Eat 3 bites, go for a walk. It took 30 minutes to feed her the first day. And she got in this habit of, see this? This is beautiful. In a week's time, 5 days now, she's realized I have to sit quietly before he's going to give it to me. She's smart. But I do this twice a day, every day, because I feed him twice a day, every day, and I'm consistent. Oh, she's going to retrieve me a Mountain Dew bottle. No, come on. Come here. Sit. Sit. Come here. Sit. Good. And I set it down. Now, if she broke, pick up the food. No reward. Come on. Now, part of my issue with her is her steadiness. Sit. Come on. Sit. Good. Her steadiness is so strong, I can't hardly get her to move. And I just kind of kick myself because her steadiness is so strong that when I send her, a lot of times she won't go. She just stays there. And so I've had to encourage her every single time to go to the bowl. I almost have to get her to be unsteady. I can't believe I just said that. I'm a stickler for steadiness. I want dogs calm, quiet, and steady. And I'm going, I need to get this dog to be a little bit breaking. Because once she breaks and moves, then I can always steady her back up. I'm big on the idea of, in training, you got to find balance. Because rarely, if ever, even with these guys, I'm rarely exactly where I want to be. I'm always one way or the other of where I want to be. And so if I'm this way of where I want to be, I can't go and ask to be where I want to be. I got to ask to be beyond it a bit. So if they're super steady, I'll spin them up to break. If they spin up and are not steady, I'll be overly steady. Somewhere trying to get in the middle. It's constantly searching for balance. So she just sat for me. I put the bowl of food down. I went up to her and she broke. And what did I do? Watch what she does now. I probably just put myself right back into the problem I had. I probably should have let her break that time. And then I'll let her break again, and then I'll let her break again, and I'll slowly let her break until she's breaking, and then I'll ask her to steady up. But I'll have to be careful at how strongly I ask so I don't stop her. It's finding balance. So we set her down. Good. Good. Bella. 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 Come on, come on, come on, come on. Look at what I've got now. It's the same damn problem I had before, but I'm such a moron, I told her no when she went. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, you're okay. Come on. Come on. You're okay. It's okay. She says, really? You just told me no. Come on. Come on. Come on. Bella. Bella, 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 Bella. Come on. Very good. Oh, very good. And now she eats. So here I am showing you one of my problems. One of my problems is her stickiness to be sent to food. And I know it. I'm aware of it. And because my habit is so ingrained in don't let a dog break. The second she took a step, what did I do? My timing was real. I say that and she looks up and goes, Jesus, now what? I can't even eat? You got to be careful because you can not intentionally be training something into the dog that you don't realize. You know, fireworks create more gun-shy dogs than any 12 gauge ever will. We don't create gun-shy dogs on purpose. Rarely ever does somebody, well, no, I hear about it and I see it, but most people these days are smart enough, they don't just take a 12 gauge shotgun out over a young pup and start shooting and go, let's see if they're gun-shy. Gun-shy is not genetic, it's imprinted. So with these dogs, with her, she's probably a little heavier on the steadiness than the looseness. So I'll have to recognize that and adjust training-wise. But I'll let her eat. Now what I love about her is, and you guys are witnessing it, so it's 2 days now that she's done this. And I'm looking at it, and it's hard for you to see it because you haven't seen it because we haven't posted it yet. But for the first solid week, I couldn't get her to eat in one sitting. And I don't want to jinx it because she's not quite there yet. But I couldn't get her to eat more than about 2 or 3 bites without running around for a hot lap. And I think what happens is, back where she was before I got her, I think she was allowed to eat a little bit at her will. And so that became habit. And my habit is we travel a lot with the dogs, and I don't have 35 minutes to feed each dog. I need to feed them and get back on the road. So I want dogs to hurry up and eat. Now that's part of why I water it. If you don't water it, it's a lot harder for that little puppy to eat that kibble. The other reason is that food swells. And so when you put that food in her belly and you don't have water on it, it's going to swell in her belly, where I let it swell here. And so when she's full, and it doesn't have this effect of really bloating her. It also gives me an opportunity to get an extra drink in her. Because a lot of times puppies don't just drink water. They're not that interested in it. And you got to be careful, especially in heat. Overheating with dogs and dehydration. So it's an easy way for me to force an extra drink into them. So I do it still with my old dogs. I water down all their food. So she nearly ate the bowl. I don't want to jinx it. She's going to just about clean this bowl up in record time. I mean, we're on less than 4 minutes. It literally took me 10 times of her running off, me calling her back and saying, eat 2 more bites. And so what I will do is, the way I've done that is, and this is how I got to the point where she decides I got to eat, it's time, is after so long and after so many times, I pick the food up. And then I put her back in her kennel. And tomorrow or the next feeding in the day, she's hungry. And she realizes if I fool around, he puts the food away. I better focus. So that's a simple way. Now, what I want to do is, okay, I need my volunteer back. You mind holding her? What I want to do, and look at these guys come to attention. Now this isn't, I won't put a whole bunch of food in there, but this isn't quite as impactful because these dogs are old. But you can see each one of these dogs, when the food comes out and they hear that sound, it's quite an exciting thing. and we got these two that were sleeping who have all of a sudden decided to wake up. So that one is ready to go. Her feet are hanging off. Get up. Ellie. Ellie. Sit. 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 Good. Again, I don't reward overexcitement. Hear Whiny back there? She's not going to be able to eat till she's quiet. But watch her eyes. This little dog, this is Ellie. This is a really nice little dog, one of my personal little projects. We've got a really good connection. So mechanics are important in training. How do you hold the leash right? The way you set your drills up, the timing and the sequencing of stuff, that's mechanical. That's very important, and you have to understand it. Feel is very important between a handler and a dog. Connection and trust, really important. I'm constantly working on building that. That little puppy, for the first couple days with me, all we did was become friends. Because I took her away from everything she knew. And she came home with me, and if there was a guy that was here, he left work early to come to the seminar last night, and he was here just for a little bit. I met his wife today, but they bought our DVDs. They're a lot like the guys guys and gals that don't have dogs yet, but are thinking about getting one. Well, he's getting his today. He's picking it up, and he asked me. So I watched the puppy DVD. I saw the seminar last night with the feeding and all that stuff. What should I start on? I mean, this guy is jacked. He's excited about training his dog, which I love. The thing about it is you have to realize, and I'm not saying he won't, but it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And so if you approach a marathon, and I'm not a runner, obviously, but I know some runners, if you are going to run a marathon and you start it out as a sprint, you won't make it. And so some people get very jacked up about getting these puppies, and they want to do all this stuff in a real short period of time. And because of that, because of the fact that you try to jam a bunch of stuff in when it doesn't quite fit too early, they become real frustrated. And a lot of times they quit. That's why the shelters have a lot of dogs in them, because we get excited about it. But if we look at it a lot like raising kids, my wife was in and out here. We've got a 6-month-old. Little baby girl, human, not puppy. And then my son is in our booth. He's 17, and we have a 10-year-old daughter in between them. So we bring these kids home, and I never once set aside, and whether I was real young with Mason or I'm a little bit older, not that old, but I'm a little bit older, with this little baby Lillian. Not once have I looked at it as I need to set aside 5 minutes today to train Lillian. Where we bring puppies home and we oftentimes get this mentality of, did you work with the dog? I got to work with the dog every day. I keep hearing about how much work you got to have. So we're going to set aside, their attention span is short, so I'm going to set aside 5 minutes and we're going to work on something. These dogs, I look at them like we're raising kids. They're always learning, so I'm always training. And if we look at it with that mentality, not only do they learn a lot better, but we train them with little to no extra time. These are my personal dogs, and they get very little separate time for training because I usually have clients' dogs. And when those ones are priorities. So my dogs develop much slower, but in the end, when it matters, we're going to be right there with everybody else. And the part of it that I like is I actually enjoy the process of the training. I think this kind of stuff is a lot of fun for me to do with a dog. It's a lot of fun for me to take that dog and have her in our booth and have people look at it and go, I can't believe you have that little dog doing that. I can't tell you how many people this weekend already have said, there is no way, not a chance, that my dog would do that. I would take any of them up on that bet. I guarantee you they could. The dog is capable of doing way more than we'll ever get out of them. It's it's the people that don't know how to get it out of them. It's the people that aren't willing to be consistent and patient enough to see it through. I look at it as the process is actually kind of fun. But it also is frustrating, so trust me, it's not all rainbows. Like, I pull my hair out a lot. And sometimes the best thing to do when things don't go so well is put the dog back in the kennel. instead of trying to continue to push through it. Because if you continue to push through it and you got a bad attitude about it, these dogs sense it quicker than we. These dogs read us better than we can read them, and they'll quit on us. And guess what happens when you're that guy that says, I'm gonna get it, and I'm getting pissed, and the dog is shutting down because of it, and then you go even more anger mode because now my dog's shutting down on me. You're so downward spiraling, it's not funny. You can put damage in between your relationship with you and your dog for a while. Here's one thing that I think you have to do is you can't hold grudges. I see a lot of people hold grudges against their dog because they didn't do it exactly right. You got to almost be like Dr. Jekyll. You got to have two personalities. You're there to correct when the time is right, and the next minute when they're doing it right, you better tell them how they're doing it right. So you're almost like a little schizophrenic. You're good. It's weird for people to think that way. It's easy for them to understand it. When they're doing something wrong, correct. When they're doing it right, praise. So I'm going to line Ellie out. See your little eyeballs? Yeah. Okay. Ellie. And so we set up every day with our feeding routines like this. We turn this into like a total routine. And I'm very set on schedule. Dogs thrive on routine. Dogs love structure. If you live a fractured life, you typically have a fractured dog because they just can't keep up with you. Now, I have a really hectic schedule. I have a weird schedule. That dog's in a hotel one night. That dog's here. I mean, this dog's been asked to do a lot of stuff. That dog's being asked to do a lot of stuff in a lot of new places and strange places. Most of you don't have that. Most of you have a much more, the ability to have a little bit more routine and a little more consistency. It makes it easier. So, so did you see how I lined her up for the food? Well, what am I doing? Now it's really hard on her because that little whistle, 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 whistle means come to me. And so when they hear it, they almost can't help, but I want to come to you because I know that's what I'm supposed to do. It's a lot like a hunt command. I'm going to walk you through a hunt command real quickly. Hunt command is a lot like that whistle. It's just classic conditioning. I can do it. It's hard to do it, I guess, here. I've got this, here, I've got blood trail. So this is something that I would do with a dog. I take this liquid. I love tennis balls. Great little training tools. High reward, a lot of excitement for a tennis ball. I take the tennis ball out and you can hear little antsy pants over here with her feet. I'd really like to do something right now. So I come over to here. Now, if that guy retrieves it, I'm really good. No, you're good. You're good. Thank you. So, the whisperer. So, I'm going to take Taylor. So, I hit it on the ground and I bounced it and it rolled out the room. Now, this will be interesting for her because she probably has this understanding of hunt this room. I give dogs a hunt command. I say lost, 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 lost. And look at her. Right now she's got one ear kinked back and if you look at their noses right now, lost, lost, lost. I'm going to turn so you can see her nose. Lost, lost. See her nose right now? It's just going, it's starting to get wet. It's starting to drip. You'll start to see a little bit of a bead coming right down because right now her body is telling her fine scent, fine scent, fine scent, because she's heard me say this before in a situation where it's time to hunt. So now with Taylor here, whose nose all of a sudden became very shiny as well, Ellie, place, Ellie. She says, damn it, Taylor gets all the fun. Now, I would take a little balled up piece of cloth. Now there's a piece of garbage there that I'm going to use that as a visual marker. She knows that's not what she's supposed to find. But I'll send her and I'll tell her lost, lost, lost. And when she hits that, I'm just going to leave her. Let her work her nose. And we'll see. And I have a feeling she'll work this room. Because who knows how much scent there is around here and where the wind is and all that stuff. I don't know. But when I send her, we're going to let her work and see if she can't work through. Now she's got to work through a crowd of people. So now there's some pretty heavy distractions. So, Taylor, lost. Okay, lost. Oh, you are good. Look what I forgot, huh? Very good, very good. So I tell her lost, and she goes and hunts the room, and what does she see? Visually, she sees something that she recognizes as a reward. So she picks it up and brings it back to me, and she wags her tail, and I go, oh, you're better than I thought. I forgot that it was there. Taylor, come on. So now, let's see what she does now. She goes, man, is there something else in here? Taylor, find it. Lost. And so she's going to work. And I don't know how strong that scent is going to lay on that. On the carpet, probably pretty good. On the hard floor, probably not as good. I did this in Bass Pro Shops once, and the ball got kicked around all over into 3 different departments. It took her 30 minutes, and she hunted. And she brought it back. Lost. And this is just a drill we do for nose work. And I get a kick out of it. I'll go to a high school and talk to them. Lost. And I'll tell kids she's also trained as a drug detection dog. And all of a sudden one day 2 guys got up and they walked out. Lost. She's clearly struggling to pick the line up. But we're just gonna let her work. One thing about her is she's a real persistent dog. Lost. She doesn't give up easily. Lost. You see, she peeks to me. She's looking for help. I don't want to help her. But if we got a 3 o'clock hard date to get out of here, we might help her. Lost. Good. Does anybody see her? Good. I want to help her. Go back. Go back. Good. Little help from Dad. Good. Whoop. Down the wrong hallway to come back. Come on, you missed your turn. Good. Come on. Nice little piece of work. Now, struggled with the nose. Scenting conditions, maybe not the best. Could have been a lot of things. What was nice about it was, because I have a pretty nice control of the dog, because the dog handles pretty well, I knew where it was. I helped her to get her into an area. She picks and we find success. That's a good example, and she's found a friend. That's a good example of where teamwork. I don't think for a second that a good tracking dog is just the dog. I think it's a combination of the handler and the dog. And so it's a combination of the handler knowing when and what to say. It's them understanding when and when they're not on the track. So we sell training products for training shed dogs. We sell this dummy comes with a bottle of scent, comes with a booklet. We've got DVDs, we've got YouTube channels that are free. We've got all sorts of information. I'm a big believer in, I don't think you have to send your dog to a trainer to have a good dog. I think you have to know what you're doing, though. I don't think it's not an osmosis thing. You can't just put a book in the room and they learn. You have to apply it. So our goal or our hope as a company is to try to give you as much information, give you the tools. I literally use the exact same stuff to train our dogs, and I like to show it. My hope or my objective is to show you the way we do it with as many dogs as possible, because they all are a little bit different. And so I don't want to push us past our time, but does anybody have any quick questions? Or, because we are going to go back to our booth, so if you do have questions, we've got a booth over there. It's Dogbone and it's Hodeg. It's a joint booth of ours. I've got all of our dog stuff there. Everything, both the dog stuff and our Hodeg stuff, we have show specials on too. But if you've got questions or anything, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube are all at Dogbone Hunter. So Dogbone Hunter is our, what do you call it? Username. That's why I got the techie with me here. So, but I appreciate you guys. Is there a seminar after us? I don't see any. There is? Yeah. Okay. So I think at 3?
3 o'clock.
So we'll wrap it up. But thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. If I can help you in any way, don't hesitate to reach out, whether it be direct messaging or text or email. My phone number is on the back of every package of product. And people think I'm crazy for it. I get real weird calls at weird times because, I get calls from different parts of the world and country asking dog stuff. So, but we felt that it was really important because the products are good, but the information, I think, is equally as important. So we try to be there for our customers as much as we can. So thank you guys for sitting through this. If you have questions, I'm more than happy. We'll be over at the booth the rest of the day here. So awesome. Thank you.
Drive on, and I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if you don't.